Thank you for joining us once again this Friday night for a little bit of overtime. It's homecoming weekend for the Golden Bears. The defending Class A champs are looking to bounce back on Friday night. Vestal has dropped 2 in a row and was not trying to make it 3 against JC and the rest of the Wildcats. Vestal, Johnson City kickoff this weekend's Friday night overtime. First quarter, Wildcats down early, a couple of scores, and Felix Morales with the carry. He bounces it outside, and the Golden Bears can't wrap up. Julian Adams trying to run him down from behind. This one goes 75 yards to the house. The senior Morales with the 2-point conversion as well to get the octopus. Wildcats down 14-8, but it was just too much from the Bears right from the beginning. First, Josh Queller here finding JT Gannon behind the safety. This one goes 59 yards for the score, and then a couple of drives later, it's Caden Kitchen, the sophomore, right up the gut. He makes a couple guys miss. He runs into a couple guys as well. He makes sure that they feel it. This one, 75 yards, and a 28-8 lead for Vestal. And then Queller to Gannon once again. This one a little underthrown, but Gannon at its highest points. Give me that. Vestal can dance, dance, dance all weekend long. 54-16 a winner on homecoming weekend.